This is our training webinar on promotion and marketing on social media for Critical Needs Alert 2022. Just a brief overview of what we're going to cover today. Why you should think about using social media to help promote your giving for Critical Needs Alert, thinking about the right platform for your organization to use with your donors, some general tips we have for success, specifically some tips for promoting Critical Needs Alert that might help you. And we're going to be demoing new media kits that we have for you all to use in a brief Q&A. Before we move forward, just want to let you all know we are recording this meeting. So the webinar will be up on the Foundation's YouTube channel later. When it is, we'll have that link for you all if you need to leave or folks in your organization wanted to join but couldn't. We will have that available for you all. So we ask that everyone remains muted, and if you have questions, put those in a chat and I can read those out and address them at the end to the best of my ability. And also feel free to turn your cameras off if you need it, things of that nature. We are providing ASL interpretation, and you can look at auto captioning. To turn that on, you'd go to your sound settings on your own Zoom link. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So why consider using social media as opposed to more traditional marketing avenues for Critical Needs Alert? Well, frankly, a lot of people are spending a lot of time on social media. So I thought this was a really helpful stat to think about. People are spending on average 4.5 hours a day. That might be some younger folks, but a lot of people of all ages are spending a large chunk of time on multiple social media platforms throughout their day. So if you're looking at places to connect with them and to get them to see information about your organization or to see information about Critical Needs Alert, it's a great place to go, and you're going to be more likely to get yourselves in front of them. Just another graphic that I thought might be helpful to see. So as you can see, average time the day in 2021 spent on each of the different, so this is broken up by the different social media platforms. So this really shows that social media is where a lot of people are getting information, news, all kinds of things, and as opposed to more traditional sort of news sources or information sources. So then if you want to go to social media and have your organization start using that technology, then comes the which platform do you use and which is the best for you. And I will say now that there is no necessarily right or wrong answer. It really is going to come down to your donors and who you know them to be and what they're using and what you find most successful for your organization. So there may be some trial and error, or it also come down to capacity for your organization, what's the easiest to utilize. But here's just some things to consider when you're thinking about, if you haven't already started using different social media platforms to promote your organization, generally speaking. So Facebook, it is the most popular platform of all the social media platforms. It's one of the oldest. So a lot of people are familiar with it. And you're more likely to have the largest group of friends or followers on Facebook just because it's been around so long and most people are familiar with that. Some problems that can be posed by Facebook is that it's a lot harder to necessarily connect with people. They have algorithms in place that penalize you for over posting. And it has become a bit of a sort of pay to play game. So there's fees that you can pay to have posts boosted, as they call it. So that helps to get your posts out in front of more people, but then you do have to pay for it. So a general recommendation, if you're using Facebook, and that's a platform that works really well for your organization, would be to post once a day or do about 5 posts per week. And that's keeps it consistent, but it doesn't trigger that penalty for over posting. Twitter is also another social media platform that's at play. It's not punitive, so it doesn't punish you if you overpost. And it does provide things sort of in a chronological manner for folks, which is helpful. But one of the biggest things to consider if you're looking into using Twitter as an organization is the character counts. So it's a lot shorter, whereas in Facebook, I'm sure you're all familiar, you can, post whole paragraphs to things, do stories on there. Twitter is going to be much shorter. So our recommendations would be to make sure that you're posting at optimal times, and we'll cover that a little bit later. And to be concise. So if you're going to use Twitter, it's a better platform to use if you want to sort of tease it and something, whatever that something is, and then provide a link that will take someone to the fuller story on your website or other places. So it's a place to sort of grab people and pull them in, as opposed to having full-blown stories. LinkedIn is a platform that we at the foundation have found to be successful for us, and it's been an area of growth for us. One of the benefits of it is that it connects you with other professionals and people in your field. And if you're doing work with to engage your employees or maybe even board members who are active in their professional fields on LinkedIn, it's a great way of utilizing their networks on that platform. And so also connecting with other sort of vendors or peers in that way. So you can engage more of the people within your community immediately, I should say. Instagram, yet another one. This will be the last of the ones that we'll cover as something to consider, but it's growing and it continues to grow as a platform. It's really great if your organization uses a lot of photos or takes a lot of pictures because it's so visual. It's a great place to announce things. And as I'll cover a bit later, we have stuff available that you could use on an Instagram platform that is visual. And it's really popular amongst younger folks. So Gen Z and millennials do make a majority of users. So if you're working to engage more of those audiences to include them in your organization's network, that's a great place to look. And people who are on Instagram tend to be very active. But the key with Instagram, as I said, is to keep it very visual, as opposed to a more story-based sort of promotion. And one pro tip, if your organization is on and using Instagram, we would recommend using the stories feature on Instagram. It's becoming one of the more popular tools on Instagram that people are using. I know I look at stories every day of friends, of what's going on, of different organizations that I follow. So as it says here, over 50 million users use Instagram stories on a daily basis. So if your organization isn't necessarily going to be posting every day, traditional posts, a great way to get in front of people on Instagram is to use those stories. And they can build on each other and be interactive and things of that nature. So once you've picked a platform or platforms that are working for your organization and you're posting some tips for success to make sure that you're getting the most out of what you post and the most out of those platforms, generally speaking. And so what I'm about to go into with these tips for success are true across all the platforms. So it's not going to matter necessarily which one is the one that you pick or are using, I should say, but things that we've found helpful. And I've consulted our social media folks here and our communications team for some of these. So hopefully these are helpful to you. Sorry, folks. There we go back. All right. So the biggest thing when you're using social media platforms as a means of promotion and marketing for your organizations is to engage. So there's a lot of different ways for you to engage beyond just posting. It's tagging people, it's posting or retweeting other organizations, whether it's your peers, it could be the Pittsburgh Foundation, anyone else's posts, responding to any and all comments, thanking people, sharing, all of that. That's different types of engagements. And the more that you engage, the more people are likely to see it because you're pulling in other people to have more of a dialogue around a particular, whether it's an ask, like a call to action, which critical needs could be for your organization, or could be news that you want to share about something really great that's happening. The more that you're talking to people on these platforms, the more people are likely to see it and spread that. So you're getting more eyes on it. Also, when you're doing this engagement work, do try as best as you can. I know everyone is really busy to respond, if not immediately, within a time frame, if it's that day or within a couple days, because people are so used to not hearing back. The more that you engage, it's going to be really great positive interaction that reinforces your organization with that person. And this is also a really important question that I even struggle with, is posting at the right time. And the short answer is it really is a matter of trial and error. But it's something to think about when you're trying to get the maximum number of people to respond. And the more you know who your donors are, who your followers are, and typically know when they're going to be looking at their different platforms, that can be a guide. I would also say a good sort of guide for yourself, if you're not sure yet, is to think about when you are posting, or not posting, but looking, I should say, at your different social media accounts. So I know for me, when I'm looking at it, it's usually in the morning when I get up and before work, maybe around lunch when I'm eating on a break, and typically when I get home after work. So if you think about it that way, that might be a good basic guide to get started for when you want to post. So that way more people are likely to see what you're posting. And up here I have on the slide, so some recommendations for the best times are going to be Tuesdays through Thursdays. Like I said, 9 or 10 a.m. So at the beginning of the day, people are just getting started with their work. Social media, Tuesday through Thursday, generally speaking, and we would recommend probably not Sundays. Most people are doing their own thing. So yeah, there's just some interesting information up in here about quick, response times and everything like that. So if you're posting at the most optimal times, you're going to get quicker response times, generally speaking. So if you want to, sort of create and build momentum, that's definitely something to consider. And pictures. Talked about it for Instagram as a platform, but generally speaking, across any and all social media platforms, the more visual you can make it, the better. So having images to go along with a longer, story on Facebook or something for Instagram is really going to attract people, because people are more likely to look at something if it has a really great image attached to it, as opposed to just, words. So it's really helpful to pair those things together. So we'll discuss it a bit later, but so these media packets, or kits, I should say, that we've provided for you have images that you can post and then attach your own organization's stories, links to your profiles on the Pittsburgh Gives site. And that way it gives people a visual representation and leading them to what you're going to eventually want them to do, which is donate. And another thing to think about, if you're using multiple social media platforms, We wouldn't recommend necessarily having that function. I know if you're posting on, it's usually Facebook or Instagram, it'll give you that option to post the same thing on the other platform. When you're using pictures especially, we would not recommend that you have that on and post separately for each platform, just because with certain platforms, they don't always sync well or transfer well. So your images or posts might show up a little funky. So just something to keep in mind. And because social media work and promotion does take time and you're all super busy, and perhaps you're short-staffed, you don't have the time, a tool that we recommend using that can be helpful for folks is called Hootsuite. So it's a free platform and it helps you to schedule your posts so that you can go in whenever you have the time and are available, create your post and set a time for when you want it to post to your organization's social media platform. So that sort of helps as a workaround when you're trying to time things out, but aren't necessarily available at the time that you want to post to go hit that, submit or post button. So that's a really great tool. Definitely try and check it out if you can. And measuring. So as you are using your social media platforms, if you are already using platforms, you may be familiar with this. And if you're new to using social media as a marketing tool, this is definitely something that you want to keep in mind. So you want to be taking note of and trying to measure engagements is what they're typically, like where they're typically used, that you are getting for each of your posts. So most of the platforms, so we have here Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, they all have sort of tools built in that will show you how many and even sometimes who amongst your followers are seeing your posts so that you can keep track of that. And then you can start putting together information for your organization about, times when you're seeing more people are looking at your posts, what's really grabbing people's attention and getting them to interact with things of that nature. So most of these platforms have those tools to help you with them and measuring. But definitely as you're using it more and more, we would recommend that you are keeping, measurements and keeping track of those things, because that's going to help you to better build social media content that's going to better engage your different audiences. And another tip is tagging. So always tag people. The more people you tag, the more people are going to see it and engage with your post. And I'm going to say this probably multiple times, but I'll definitely cover it on a slide later. When it comes to Critical Needs Alert, as you're trying to promote the event and your donors, please feel free to tag the Pitzer Foundation or to share anything that we're posting, but definitely try to tag us, because we then will work with you and engage to try to share, comment, all of that thing so that we can help utilize our networks for your benefit. But the more people you tag, the more people you're going to get to pay attention to what you're posting. And the more you're going to get people to engage and eventually hopefully donate. And spreading good news. So whenever you're on social media, regardless of whether it's for Critical Needs Alert or not, sharing good things that are happening, either with your peer organizations that are in your field, board members, or great stories of anyone that's in your network. It's a great time to share those stories or to comment, to tag people, and to celebrate with them, because everyone wants to hear about good news that's going on in the world. And it's a great way to start building those engagement structures within your platforms and your networks, so that when you are doing more promoting and marketing with a more clear ask, you're going to have more likely people to engage with you because they've already engaged with you on just really great feel-good stuff to begin with. And lastly, We are all in this together. So when you're thinking about promotion of anything, but especially with Critical Needs Alert, using social media platforms, a great way to promote is to use your board members, your staff members, volunteers. And what can be helpful is to provide them with instructions. For Critical Needs Alert, it might be helpful to say, this is what Critical Needs Alert is, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it. You can either do, pre-made content for them, or you can say, go on, Facebook at this time, look for our organization's post and share it, and tag us, using this hashtag or this link. And then that way they can share what's already a pre-made post, and they can add their own little blurb about why they support your organization, what's really great about it, which makes it more personable. But then it's also getting your content out to more people because they're sharing it with their networks as well. And we've heard from other organizations that have used their board members and staff members to help promote on social media, and have had some great feedback about how that's been successful for them. But it also, I would say, it makes it more personal and personable for people. So it puts faces to your organization and to an event or an ask that you're making. And specifically, just some things to keep in mind as you're promoting for Critical Needs Alert. I've mentioned a couple things. And the big one you can see here is #OneDay. So definitely make sure when you're promoting for Critical Needs Alert this year, we've got about a little over a month to go, and it's going to approach quickly. But definitely use the #OneDay on any and all social media posts about the day. And it's also helpful to use your custom URL. So when you are all setting up and submitting your profiles and updating them, there is the ability to create a custom URL link. So it's usually the pittsburghgives.org/ and then it's whatever you're putting in that field. When you have that URL link, you can use that in any social media post, and the link is going to take people directly to your organization's public profile on Pittsburgh Gives. They won't have to search for it. So that makes it a lot easier for folks when you're saying, here's this day, here's what's going on, here's why we're doing it, go here. It'll take them straight to you. And that makes it a lot easier of an ask when you're doing it via social media. And then also leverage the existing media kits available. So I'm going to be doing a demo today for some new kits that we have, and we'll be uploading some other content as well this week that you can absolutely use as much as you want. But it's going to also have some of that pre-branding already done for you to make it a little easier on yourselves. As I said already, definitely involve your board members. If they are required to make an annual gift, this might be a great way to do it, because then it also stretches those dollars a bit further with the incentive pool. We do find it's helpful if you set a goal in your organization's profile, because when people go to your public profile on the Pittsburgh Gives site, there's a little dial that shows your organization's progress towards that goal. So it's another great visual to help folks see, where you are and how they can help you reach that goal. And it's a good way to incentivize folks. Yeah, you can create challenges, use fundraisers. We will be having one third and final training in 2 weeks that's going to cover how to use the peer-to-peer fundraising feature on the Pittsburgh Gives site. And that way you can have board members create their own fundraisers or campaigns that they can post to social media and drive folks to your site as well. So that will be something to look out for in a couple weeks. And registration is still open for that. All right. So now that I've just talked a whole lot, I'm going to keep talking, but there'll be some more action going on. I'm going to do a demo for these new media kits. So for those of you who are familiar with some of the media kits we've done in the past, in previous years, whenever we've done them, we've created content and used images that sort of fit the different categories or criteria areas that we were focusing on each year. And they were fairly generic, and we found that people weren't using them quite as much. So this year, we will be having our more generic, it's going to show up like it does on the screen here, similar kind of images that you can use, absolutely. But we've also created these customizable frames that you can use, and you can use Canva to add your organization's own pictures to them to make them more representative of your organization and your organization's work. So I'm going to show you how that all works in just a moment. Bear with me here. It's the first time I'm demoing, so gotta see. Slideshow. Let's make sure that everyone can see. I'm going to reshare just to be safe. Here we go. Cool. So when you go to the Pittsburgh Gift site and you come here to our homepage, you're going to go to the Critical Needs Alert tab and go down to the Nonprofit Toolkit page. Once you're there, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll be able to access customizable social media frames. We also have a PDF here that you can open up, and it's a guide about how to use these frames, to download them, to open them up, and to use them. I actually printed mine off. And it's pretty simple step-by-step. But what you're first going to do when you are opening and using these, you'll open the zip file. And once you have the zip file open, you're going to want to right-click. We'll actually have to go back further. There we go. Right-click on it and hit Extract All. And it's going to have a pop-up show up. And you can save it anywhere you want. I'm saving it on the desktop. And you'll hit Extract. And I already saved it earlier. Here we go. And so then it's going to show up and you'll be able to access these images. So they're there, they're available. We have them broken up, and we'll have our other more general hashtag one day images broken up this way too. So for those of you who are in Allegheny County, you can open up the ones that just have the Pittsburgh Foundation logo on it. If you're out in Westmoreland County, we do have ones that have their Westmoreland County logo, the Community Foundation for Westmoreland County, excuse me, logo on it as well, to help you guys out. It's a little love out there. So this is what you'll be using. So once you have downloaded and unzipped your files, you can go, I'll minimize these, to Canva. I'm already logged in. You can log in and create an account for free. So if you haven't already, you can create an account. This will be your home page. And when you want to create your own design using these frames, you will hit a custom size down here. And in the guide that we provide you, we have the list of the different sizes that the frames are for. So you can use them. We have sizes for if you wanted to create like a story for an Instagram story image, we have them. So you can do a smaller image for Instagram or Facebook. We have some bigger ones. So you can look in the guide and it'll have those sizes available for you. For today, we're going to do that. And then you'll hit Create New Design. So once you do that, this new page will pop up. You can rename it for yourself for when you save it. Oh, give me a second. Up here. So I'll say Critical Needs Alert Demo. It'll show up and it'll be in the shape and size of the dimensions that you've specified when you hit that custom sizing. So then to upload your frames and or your images that you want to use to customize those frames, you'll go up here to, over here I should say, to the uploads, and you can hit Upload Media. And then you can save from your, wherever you've saved those unzipped files, you can save images. I've already done that here just to make it a little easier. But once you hit those, they'll all show up in here. So what you first want to do is take the image that you're going to use for your custom post. So ideally, your image size is going to be the same size as the post. If it's not, I would recommend having an image that's a bit larger in terms of pixels, because it's easier to sort of crop that rather than drag and expand out a smaller image, because that's going to be really pixelated when you do it. So as an example, you just click, and this will pop up in your template. So all you have to do is then pull, and we can do this more, until it fills the entire white space of your post image. And then what you'll do is find the corresponding frame that we have. You'll click on that, and you'll do the same thing over that image. So I'm gonna drag and line it up. And there you have it. So then once you have this set up, you can go over here to File. And what you'll want to do is hit Download. Over here, it recommends PNG, but you can do it as a JPEG, anything you want. And all you have to do is hit Download. Let's show up. And there you have an image that is customizable with #1day. It's going to have the website on it where people can go, and it'll have people tell them when it is. We have all different ones that'll say, like, you know, 1 day is today, 1 day is tomorrow. So you can create different posts as you're leading up to August 9th. And you can use your own organization's images to be a better reflection of you as an organization. So yeah, you can save this. I'll hit, you know, that, and then you can post it to any social media platform that works with it. So that is how that works. So I'm going to stop sharing, pull back up. Excuse me while I go through this just one more time. You can get rapid fire again. Here we go. So just as a reminder, there is one more training. As I said, it's going to be Wednesday, July 13th at 12, same time. And we'll do a deeper dive into the peer-to-peer fundraising function and how your organization can leverage that. And it will work a little bit in tandem with some tips for social media usage, but that'll also help you promote and work with your organization's staff and such to promote the day. Whew, that was a lot. So do we have any questions I can possibly answer? Let's see. Organization does work in both Allegheny County and Westmoreland counties. Will there be any mutual logos showing both logo images? Yes. So as I just showed in that demo, we will have, as we actually have up here, so Pitzer Foundation and the Community Foundation of Westmoreland County, who are both providing incentive dollars for this and who are both sponsoring this. So that'll help you if you do work in both Westmoreland and Allegheny County.
And Katie, can I chime in? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kitty Julian. I'm Comms Director at the Pittsburgh Foundation, and we are so excited that you are all here. We really want to equip you to do the best possible job promoting your organization. If you want co-branded, use the files called CFWC. They have both foundation logos on them. PNG or JPEG. Sure, I understand. Formats are best. Siri wanted to get involved. Formats to use for social media. Don't use PDF, never PDF. And I would also say, if you don't use social media now, don't wait until August 9th to begin. Start using them now so that you can get familiar with and practice. And if you're going to make a mistake, make it now, and then you can delete it and it won't hurt you. If you wait until the last minute, you might find yourself surprised and in a jam. And as Katie mentioned, anytime you tag us, we'll tag you back and we'll amplify. So hopefully that helps you, and hopefully these free tools will be useful to you in your own promotion and marketing. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. That's really helpful. And to answer, is there a recording from the first session? Yes. In the process of getting that edited and uploaded to the Pittsburgh Foundation's YouTube channel. And I'll include that link to the channel in my weekly emails, and we'll also put it on the nonprofit toolkit page of the website. So that will be available, and I'm hoping shortly. How often should we share posts on social media? How much is too much? How should we incorporate email marketing? Whew. So I would say, thinking about sharing for social media, it's going to depend on the platform. So as I was talking, the recommendation we had for Facebook would be about once a day or like 5 times in the week. So that way you're not over posting. And 5 is about right for social media so that you're getting out there a lot, but not over posting so you're not penalized by their algorithms. Things like Instagram stories are, really more helpful around events. So the closer, you get to actual day of critical needs alert, it might be more useful to use them. Or if you do like a story once a week that sort of illustrates your organization's work and why giving to critical needs alert is going to help them in that work. Maybe build that up that way. I don't know, Katie, if you had any other recommendations, but I do think it depends a lot on the platform. And if you are only have one platform that you're really focusing on, I would say that recommendation of about once a day or maybe 5 times a week, spread it out as however you want, could be a good way to gauge that to get started. That would be my recommendation. And then incorporate, sorry?
Yep, that's right. That's right. The other thing I would say is don't post the same thing every day. You're going to want to have variety. So if you can, make 5 different versions in each size. Recycle them, use them once a week. Add different stats and facts that are relevant to your mission and the folks that you serve, so that you're not just, people won't click on it if it's the same thing every single time.
As far as incorporating email marketing, that I would say would be at the discretion of your organization and what works best. So if it's possible and you have the ability to have content that is shareable from an email that you send to folks, absolutely encourage them to share that content and have the buttons available. I know certain email tools have that for you, where you can add the like share on LinkedIn, you know, or whatever the platform it is, and they have the different icons for you. Could be a way to do it. It could be something where you're using email and providing, can you all go here on this day and help share? It could be where how you engage people to do the legwork to help share it on social media and give them the information and the instructions. And you can use it in tandem as you would with maybe a regular appeal. But that's going to be what works best for your organization and the type of donors that you're engaging. Multiple posts on the day before, day of, how many or how often? So I know we have images and we have those customizable tags that say one day is tomorrow and one day is today. So I would say once or twice on each day. I would say, you know, beginning of the day, or maybe even 3 times if you do beginning, midday, end of the day. Especially on the day of, I would say, because we're opening up on at 8 a.m., you know, you can post first thing in the morning, around lunch, say, you know, it's still going. And sort of the evening would be sort of the last, you know, this is the final call, last chance to get more for your bang, you know, more bang for your buck kind of thing. That would be my recommendation. But I don't think that you need more than that. And even if you were just to post one day or one time during those days, I think that'd be fine too. But however you think is best.
Hey, one more thing for you guys to think about with email marketing. If your email marketing system that you use allows you to attach files that your board and your donors and your fans can download, you could create one-day artwork and email it out to everyone and ask them to post it for you. That would be a really cool way for you to get people to mobilize and make it as easy as possible for them.
Do you have advice on a level of boosting of posts we should do while everyone in the community is also boosting posting?
Katie,
I don't know, Katie, if you
want to take that one?
Please. I'm not the boost expert.
So post boosting, it's an experiment. Facebook, and it doesn't, I wish I could be more specific with an exact number and an exact time frame. What I would say is start early, like start July 9th and see what you can do with $25. See what happens. And then look at your results behind like there's a back end of the Facebook site where you can see what the click-throughs look like. There is also any organization that deals with issues, which is all of us. Facebook has become stricter about allowing you to buy post boosts. And it's something to do with propaganda related to the election. That after that happened, Facebook began creating stricter rules about post boosts. So in our case, we had to actually get special permission to boost posts that were about issues such as education and childcare and mental and physical health care, which I suspect is similar for all of you. So I would do an experiment if you plan on post boosting as soon as possible to make sure if there are hoops your organization has to jump through administratively that you have time to do that. I know we had to actually mail a physical letter to Facebook's headquarters in order for it to be accepted. We did that some time ago. I'm not sure what their current standards are, but I would hate for you all to find that out on August 8th.
Thank you. I hope that's helpful. because yeah, even my limited experience with boosting is that it's kind of hard to gauge unless, as Katie said, you experiment a bit. So, yeah. And I would agree also, the earlier the better. Yeah. All right. One last chance. Going once. All right. If you have any other questions that you think of now or later, please feel free to email us and we can answer you as best we can and see if we can help. Otherwise, as I said, we'll be recording this and posting this along with the recording from the first session to our YouTube channel with links available on the Pittsburgh Gives site, the nonprofit toolkit page. So thank you, everyone. I'll let you all go and have a great day.